All right, let's dive into a topic that affects pretty much all of us: how to get our money to start working for us. We're going to break down that huge leap from just being a saver to actually becoming an investor, and why making that shift is so important for your financial future. Okay, before we get rolling, just a quick but really important heads up. Everything we talk about today is for informational purposes. This is not investment advice. You should always do your own homework. So, I've got a question for you. A savings account feels like the safest place for your cash, right? I mean, it's in the name. But what if playing it that safe over the long run was actually the riskiest move of all? Let's unpack that a little. Okay, this is where it gets real. Just look at these numbers. After 5 years, yeah, there's a difference, but it's not life-changing. But just follow that row out to 30 years. It's not even close. We're talking about a gap of over $284,000. That right there, that's the opportunity cost of just letting your money sit. And that massive difference gets to the heart of something a lot of us mix up. We tend to use the words saving and investing like they're the same thing, but they're not. They're totally different tools for totally different jobs. So think of it this way. Saving is like parking your car in a safe, secure garage. It's perfect for short-term stuff, like your emergency fund or saving for a down payment. You're just trying to keep it safe. But investing is like taking that car out on a long road trip. It's for the long haul, designed for growth, and to make sure your money's value actually grows faster than the cost of living.
So we know investing is a long-term game, but what makes it so powerful? Well, it turns out you have this incredible force on your side, working behind the scenes. And the best part? The younger you are when you start, the more powerful it is.
Let's put some real numbers to this. Meet Investor A. They start putting away just €100 a month when they're 25. They do this for 40 years and boom, they end up with nearly €200,000. Pretty amazing for what's basically a couple of coffees a week. But now, look at Investor B. They invest the exact same amount, €100 a month, but they just waited 10 years to get started. And the difference is staggering. They end up with almost half as much. That's the mind-blowing power of compounding in action. It shows that when you start is arguably even more important than how much you start with.
You know, there's actually a super handy little mental shortcut to get a feel for this compounding power. It's called the Rule of 72, and it's awesome for getting a quick estimate of how long it takes for your money to double. It's seriously this simple. Just take the number 72 and divide it by your expected annual return. So if you think you're going to get an 8% return, 72 divided by 8 is 9. That means your money should roughly double every 9 years. It's a great back-of-the-napkin way to see just how much of a difference a few percentage points in return can make over the long term. Okay, so if compounding does most of the heavy lifting and time is our best friend, what should we actually be focusing on? Is it about trying to find the next Amazon or timing the market perfectly? Most of us think that's the game, right? Being a stock-picking genius. But what if all that effort, all that stress, is focused on the wrong thing? The answer might completely flip how you think about building wealth. So check this out. A landmark study looked into this exact question, and what they found was wild. Over 90% of your long-term results come down to one thing: your asset allocation policy. That's just a fancy way of saying the mix of things you invest in. All that other stuff, picking the perfect stock, trying to time the market, that's less than 10% of the picture. That's a huge revelation.
So, if the mix is what matters, what's the simplest way to get a good mix? Well, for a lot of people, the answer is an index fund. Instead of trying to find a needle in a haystack, you just buy the whole haystack. You own a tiny piece of hundreds of companies, like all the ones in the S&P 500. It gives you instant diversification for a super low cost. All right, so we've got our simple, diversified game plan, but there are a couple more things we need to think about that can really pour some gasoline on the fire and accelerate that growth. First up is inflation. It's kind of like the silent killer of your savings. So if your investment goes up by 7%, but prices for everything else go up by 3%, you don't really get 7% richer. Your actual real return, your increase in buying power, was only 4%. And that's the number that truly matters. And the second factor? Oh, it's a big one. Taxes. Just look at the difference here. This shows how the same investment can grow in a regular account versus a tax-advantaged one, like a 401k. It's more than double. Why? Because your money gets to compound year after year without getting a haircut from the tax man along the way. It's a massive advantage. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from the hidden cost of safe money to the magic of compounding and the power of keeping things simple. So let's bring it all home and turn this knowledge into an actual actionable plan. Here it is, your 4-step roadmap. First, build that safety net. Get 3 to 6 months of expenses into a savings account. That's your foundation. Step 2, invest the rest. Any money you know you won't touch for at least 5 years, put it to work. Step 3, keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Low-cost index funds are your friend. And finally, step 4, stay consistent. Making it a habit is the secret sauce. It's more important than starting with a huge amount. Look, it's totally normal to feel a bit nervous about this stuff. The fear of loss is real. But as we've seen, doing nothing carries its own hidden risk. The risk of your money slowly losing its power year after year. So really, the choice isn't between risk and no risk. It's about choosing which risk you're more comfortable with. So I'll just leave you with this one thought. For the next 10, 20, 30 years, the market is going to keep doing its thing. The only real question is it going to be doing it for you? Thanks so much for watching.